First, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth and sincerity. A shout out to the Akim that's out here. New Jerusalem that is pretty much being built up now. The new kingdom is about to transfer, so there's a transference that's about to happen. You know, we're about to trade places with Esau. We're going to build up our kingdom, and you know, pretty much they're going to be serving us. They're going to be helping us to rebuild everything they destroyed. No more chemtrails, no more tainted vaccinations that they try to force upon us. No more microchips, you know, which is the mark of the beast. No more banking systems at all. All these terrorists, because Esau is the terrorist, are going to be serving us in the kingdom. You know, the wars will be over with. They pretty much we're going to be burning their weapons of war for pretty much. It's going to be thrown in a pile and going to be burnt up. We're going to burn it for oil. You know, which has been the whole reason for the Zionists for going into the Middle East to begin with, was to take over the oil, the wealth. You know, to pretty much take the wealth, you know, because that's why the invasion of Libya and the invasion of Iraq was to pretty much drain it of its resources. But our people, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, are going to come back to their heritage, and that's what's happening now. It's being built up. And of course, there'll be confusion and face among them. You know, we're coming out, you know, we're finding out who we are. You know, if the Spirit resides in us, then we're an Israelite, despite what we may look like, because we were scattered among the four quarters of the earth, and of course, during that time period, of course we made it, duh. It's a reproduction, you know. We spread our seed. That's just the way that it is. So, you know, we're singing that new song now. We are New Jerusalem, singing that new song, declaring this kingdom throughout the whole earth, you know, because there's about to be a transference. So the power is going to be transferred to us, and Esau's losing his power structure. You can see it crumbling down now as they're getting desperate, you know, for a reason to be in Syria, you know, they're trying to come up with more lies. So I'm just going to read out of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 14, because this is when Yahushai redeems us from the earth, and we come back as New Jerusalem. And pretty much it gets set up here. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, that is that mothership. And upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle, and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And that's when he's going to destroy these Edomites for all their wars and just pretty much their filthiness. You know, Edomite customs such as Christmas, New Year's, all these wicked customs and all that, and just the homosexuality. You know, this place of Sodom and Egypt, spiritually, Babylon the Great, that's kept our people in slavery because they never did set us free. No, it was just Emancipation Proclamation. Well, what the fuck is that? It just pretty much means that you're still a slave. That's even in the goddamn national anthem, which a lot of our people are refusing to sing and to stand up for. And that's a good thing. And he that sat on the cloud thrusted his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. So this place was destroyed, Babylon the Great, America. Another angel came out of the temple, which is in heaven. He also having a sharp sickle. Another angel came out from the altar, which had the power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And that's talking about these goddamn Edomites. You know, they're an abomination, they're the filth, and it's time to go ahead and reap that plow and destroy them. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and casted the great winepress of the wrath of Yahweh. And the winepress was trodden without the city, which is talking about Babylon the Great. And blood came out of the winepress even unto the horse bridles by the space of 1,600 furlongs. So this could no way be Vatican City, because it's talking about a very, very large place. that is America, Babylon the Great. Chapter 15. And I saw another angel in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled the wrath of Yahweh. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire. And it's talking about, of course, it's thermonuclear weapons. No doubt that that's what this is talking about. And them had gotten the victory over the beast, which is the UN, NATO, and the EU, and over his image, which is, this pretty much, the so-called American diplomacy, and the delicacies of Babylon, the beast, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, and on the sea of glass having the harps of Yahweh. And again, this is talking about the people that refused to bow down and worship Esau, the so-called white man that came out, thus the New Jerusalem, pretty much. And they sang the song of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord Yahweh Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy, for all the nations shall come worship thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. And again, this is pretty much talking about when Babylon the Great is destroyed. So there's going to be a transference, and we're pretty much going to return unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, which means in the name of, and this place will no longer be. Everything you see, all this wicked customs and all that, which, which is why we come out here to tell our people to come out from it, because this place is going to be judged, But it's going to be a great day for us because we're finally, the shackles are coming off. This place of slavery, of misery, we're finally going to be out of that. And the so-called white man, his power structure is going to be destroyed. Well, why would we want to come out and proclaim that, These prophecies, they're good news for us, but very bad news for them, For years, they have lied to us. They've hid the images of us. They won't teach us that we were once in power. No, they'll only show you white images. You try to look up anything, so-called white man's playing the part, Who's got all the acting roles? So-called white men. And I know that there are sellouts, that are in there too, but pretty much, you see a biblical movie, all Edomites. You see a movie about the Greeks, all Edomites. Because Esau conquered that area. You never hear about who the Grecians were before that time, nor the Egyptians. No, you don't see them as the Hamites. You see them as so-called white men, Because, of course, that's what Edom does, Whenever they conquer a place, they pretty much change the faces and the images. They pretty much put their faces over it, Just like with Beethoven, Moses, or not Moses, yes, Moses too, of course, you got that 10 Commandments movie, but, Mozart. Mozart, what images do you see? You see a black man? No, so-called white man. Because, of course, they don't want you to know who the real Israelites are, and pretty much our people have been in rulership over there. For over 1,000 years we were in rulership, but they don't want you to know anything about it. They just call that the Dark Ages, because they were in the shackles and in the chains. But we were in rulership there. That's why there was a such thing as, actual laws that pretty much governed the biblical scriptures, Such as sodomy was punishable by death. Yeah, you would be put to death. They called it buggery, pretty much. And it was a very high offense. You'd be put to death for that. That's because we were in rulership over there. It was a righteous kingdom. We're about to get that kingdom again. But this time we will be returned unto Yahshua, unto Israel. Jerusalem will be our capital. We are a people now. The Edomites might have it right now, but not for much longer. Because we're the New Jerusalem. We're that people returning unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. We're being redeemed from the earth. We're coming out of these Babylonian customs. And we're out here proclaiming this. That it's time now to pretty much get ready, because this place is about to be reaped. America's going to reap what it has sown. And it has spilled a lot of blood, still spilling blood out there in the Middle East and in Ukraine, trying to get their way back into Ukraine. You know, they're the ones that overthrew a government that was legit. You know, Poroshenko, you know, put in a puppet government. You know, they're trying to get their way back in there, and of course, starting shit with Korea. You know, it wasn't enough that they came and occupied South Korea. No, they want North Korea too. Of course, because the white man never stops with his greediness. And it's his lust for power that's going to be his downfall. Because it is happening very soon. All these nations, you can see it happening. They're beginning to hate the whore, America. And they're about to destroy it with fire. You know, and that's what those scriptures are talking about. Mingled with fire and with blood. For the harvest is ripe. Them grapes represent the Edomites. They're about to be destroyed. So I hope this has been edifying. By all means, come out of Babylon while you still can. Because this place, the only future for it is the lake of fire. Shalom.